Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. All right, this week I'm looking at the minor prophets because I'm editing my book, actually looking at the final published, pre-published copy to make any minor changes. Book's due out in a couple of months. And so it's got me very reflective on the minor prophets, and I started looking this week at Jonah. And so Monday and Tuesday, if you missed that part of Jonah, it's worth getting those there on YouTube or wherever you watch these videos. But anyway, today is Jonah part 3. And I think you know the story. Most of you will. God comes to Jonah. Jonah's a professional prophet, by the way. Back then, the king of Israel actually had prophets on his payroll. Now, that doesn't mean that they were anything more than like wise advisors who typically just told the king whatever the king wanted to hear. And it may not have been a 9 to 5 job because the king may have had a problem in the middle of the night, but by and large, it was steady work and steady income, and that's what they did. Well, the problem is the king of Israel was very corrupt. And being corrupt, he just wanted yes men for his wise men. And so the typical person that he hired as a professional prophet to tell him what the gods, plural, because the king at that time was a polytheist, pagan, basically, what the gods wanted, that's Jonah was one of those. But the book starts out by saying the word of the true God came to Jonah and told Jonah, leave your cushy job and go to Nineveh, the pagan nation that actually capital of the pagan nation, Assyria, that looks to take over the world. You go there and you speak to the king and to the 120,000 people who live there that if they don't repent in 40 days, God's bringing judgment on them. Well, all of a sudden, the professional prophet has a real calling from the real God to go do some real prophesying or profiting, and he doesn't want to do it. So he flees the opposite way. Instead of going overland, which is what it would be to Nineveh, Nineveh's in the middle, it's on the Tigris or Euphrates, whichever river is north. It's on that river, but it's not near the seas. And instead, Jonah goes to the sea and flees away from God. And God's not amused by this, and God doesn't let this happen. God brings a storm upon the ship and makes it apparent to the sailors and apparent to Jonah that the storm is there because of Jonah. And so they throw him overboard, and a fish comes and gobbles him up and takes him down into the depths of the water. He's portrayed in Jonah as dead. And he sits in the belly of the fish for 3 days, and then he cries out to God in his distress. And that's what I want to pick up with today. It's in Jonah chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Jonah prays to the Lord from the belly of the fish, saying, I called out to the Lord in my distress, and he answered me. And God has the fish spit him up, and he makes the 400-mile trek overland to Assyria, and voila, he preaches to Nineveh. Now, why is this a video thought for the day? I don't know about you, but I know that God has put plans in front of me for my life that I have failed to follow. And I think we all have, if we're being honest. And the reassuring part of Jonah is you may not be, and I may not be on plan A that God had for us. We may have run from it. We may have run from plan B. Heavens, I may be on plan double Z right now. But in my distress, I can call out to God, and he still has a plan for my life. Doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter how many opportunities you have flubbed, God still has a plan for you and your life right now. We just need to call out to him and listen to his answer. And when he tells us, follow it. You may be saying, I'm too old at this point. I've blown all my chances. This is my promise to you. And I think it's very scriptural. If you're still alive, God still has a plan for you today. Call out, find out, and follow. And that's your video thought for the day.